Well, just so we get this all straight, I love love. That's all there is to it. And I'll tell you, when people come through the doors here, the first thing they say is they can feel the love. And we talk about love so often, and I'm not talking about love as the sentimentality, which is fun in itself, romantic love and all of that, but I'm talking about love, wow, as a spiritual power, the spiritual force that moves things, that changes things, that heals things, and really makes a difference in this world. But the one thing we don't talk about a lot, and thank you, Susan, so much, God is love, we are love, we're born in love, that's what we're made of, we know that. But the thing we miss so often is we have to choose love. Love is always present. It's that energy that keeps us uplifted. It keeps us light. Love and light can be equated in many ways, spiritual love and spiritual light. But just as we have to turn on the light to dispel the darkness from a room, we have to turn on and choose love as the force that's going to guide us, as the energy that we choose to live. It's a choice we have to make, and it's hard to make. We have a tendency to love. We do. But the risk is great. The risk is really great to love. We can get hurt. It can be painful. We can lose things that mean a lot to us. But that same love that hurts is the love that heals. And that's the choice that we have to make. Because that's the thing. Love heals, and it's the only thing really that's going to heal humanity from all this man's inhumanity, man, woman, everybody's inhumanity to each other that we see all over the place. We've seen it for decades and years, and we can heal it by a simple choice we make. This is what Ernest Holmes says. He said, we should think of God, whatever name you call it, creative intelligence, infinite source, whatever it is, as the great spirit whose sole purpose it is to love, giving freely of itself to all who ask, to open, who choose love, giving freely to everyone and refusing no one. There's no place that we can't immediately choose that to switch it up, to change things, And we think about love as a choice that we make. I think we can talk about this ladder of life that Ernest Holmes and many philosophers talk about, the ladder of life that we climb in this and many lives. Well, I'll tell you what, every memorial service, every consultation I have with people that have lost anything, we talk about the eternality of love and that it never dies. And if you didn't give someone the love that you wanted to when they were here on this earth and they've passed, it's not too late because it is infinite, it's universal, it keeps on going, and we need to remember that. But on this ladder of love, we can talk about it as something, the realm of our love, the circles of our love keep growing. Of course, it starts with our parents. God is love, gave birth to us as love. Our parents are the first thing we love, and that grows and grows and grows. But the ladder of love that I'd like us to focus on today is a little different. As human beings, we learn to love from people conditionally. I'll love you if you're a good little boy, if you're a good little girl. I'll love you if you do this. I'll do this for you, or I'll do that. Lots of expectations, lots of things that are conditions we place on people, that our love is conditional. Well, that's going to bring limitations, insecurity, and restrictions to not only us, but to life. The love that we want to focus on is that unconditional love that I just read about, that is given freely, that's offered no matter what, that it's there. Now, I have a test. Don't you love that? But I taught kindergarten, so don't worry about it. It's not too hard. Anyway, Hafez, and Rumi, I'm so sorry. I've been talking about Hafez lately, and he's a little younger Sufi mystical poet than you, but I still love you too, Rumi. Anyway, Hafez wrote, "There's a beautiful creature living in a hole that you have dug inside yourself. I have fallen in love with that someone who is hiding inside of you." Now tell me what kind of love that is. Is it conditional or unconditional? It's unconditional when we see beyond the fears, beyond the limitations, beyond the problems, beyond the perfection that we might be looking for. It's there. That's what we can see. When we look to find the God, the good, the love in other people, beyond behaviors, beyond the limitations, we're all works in progress, all of us. And if we realize, and Ernest Holmes says this too, he said, most people are doing the very best they can. And what I add there is we're doing the very best we can with the tools we have at the moment. And that's why it's important to keep learning and growing and evolving in that ever spiraling upward evolution that we're on. We need to keep doing that. A spiritual teacher once said, "The longest journey you will ever make is those 18 inches from your head to your heart." It's those places, because the mind thinks conditionally. It thinks in opposites and paradox. Right, wrong, good, bad, yes, no, black, white, this, that, no, no. That's how it thinks. And it does a really good job of processing things and creating things, and that's great. But it's the heart that feels that language of love that Susan mentioned, that language that Rumi spoke of. Rumi also said, see, I'm talking about you again. Rumi also said, close your eyes and see with your heart. Because the heart can move beyond that paradox and those differences and see a greater truth. If we think about what prevents us from loving, well, number one, fear of rejection, fear of being hurt, fear of not getting what we want from that love. And fear that, of course, that love won't be returned. But fear is only love forgetting itself when we just forget that love is what we're made of. But when we bring love to our fears, it's like turning on that light in that dark room. The fear dissipates, the darkness dissipates, it changes. The other thing, judgment. Oh, so easy to judge, but judgment closes the heart. Just as we can't hate and love at the same time, we can't judge and love at the same time. They don't go together. Now, that doesn't mean not having opinions or choices or, no, I mean judgment when you're making somebody wrong because of what they're doing. When we're judging and not seeing what's hidden in that hole they dug within themselves. That's what I'm talking about. And judgment, when we love, judgment becomes unnecessary. We don't need to judge because there's no comparisons. We don't need to do that. Old wounds. I'm going to talk about, it's so much better when kids are loved when they're little. It makes such a difference. And if some of us weren't lucky enough, I mean, all our parents make mistakes, and yeah, that's just part of the process. But when you come from a childhood that's unloving, it's harder. You need and need and need more love around you. It's just true. We need to work on it harder because unhealed wounds make it harder to give that love that we all desire. We're here to love and be loved, but it's harder to do that when we have those open wounds in us. But if we remember, every tear we shed is a seed to something greater, and every scar is a doorway to compassion. We can turn that when we bring understanding to life and something greater. And the last thing is the stories we tell ourselves. I mean, for how long? How many of you have been to counseling where you've just gone, I don't belong, I don't love myself, I'm not good enough, I'm not enough? Yes, a few of you are. Yeah, of course. And we need to get over that because we need to know that we're loved every moment. It doesn't matter how many mistakes were made. We're forgiven, we're forgiven. We just need to own that and believe it. And it starts with loving ourselves. Now that song that Kirk said he was doing today? Did you like it? I have sung that song probably more than any of you have ever sung any other song in your life, because when I drove our teens at our other church up to teen camp, they would sing that song, and it's way more verses than this. Over and over and over again. It's coming out your ears, but what a good song to sing. I love myself the way I am. That's how much we crave love and to be loved. Now, what I was going to say is we just spent a few days, 3 nights, a few days down in Fallbrook, because that's where Naya's school is. She goes to a Waldorf school down there, and Deanna said, hey, you guys are going to get away. Come, let's stay, and we can take her to school. And of course, one of the days was a holiday, and we didn't realize it, so we had the 3-year-old all day, but that was fun because I love that little girl, but I was exhausted. Anyway, the house was so fun, but I didn't realize how much she'd be wound up. You go in, and it was a big house, and you walk in, and very nicely decorated, and there's a nice furniture, a big break room, and there was a table shuffleboard, and then there's stuff all over, but they have shelves of books and kids' toys, and then the bedrooms are all fine, and then you go downstairs, there's a pool table, a foosball table, a air hockey table. You go outside, there's a cornhole, and there's a ping pong table, and there's a spa. And I said, Cammie, I'm going to tell my teacher that we are staying in an Airbnb that has everything. And it reminded me of what Ernest Holmes said about love. He said, keep it simple. Life gives, we must receive. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Live in the enthusiastic expectation of a child in love and wonder. Forgive yourself and everyone else. I think in the background of all our thoughts should always be, I love you, I love you. Now, I don't know how many of you see your life as a message, but I'm sure I wear my family out going, oh, I wonder what the message is in this. Oh, I wonder what the message is in this. I always see life as giving us messages all the time. It's working for us and never against us. So on Tuesday night, Baba always reads to Naya, and there was a whole slew of books on their bookshelf, and so they picked a book, and they were having so much fun snuggling and reading, and it was really cute. And I saw the book, and I knew it was about 2 little raccoons, and it was really sweet, but I didn't know what the book was. So Deanna and I go to pick Naya up at school the next day, and teacher Rachel says, oh, we got a new book in today. And we always like to give our new books to a child to take home and read for a couple of days. And it was the exact same book that Kirk was reading with Naya. So I said, oh, well, I better read that today. And it's called The Kissing Hand. And it's about a little raccoon who's going to start school. And I don't know if you know, but raccoons go to school at night, not during the day. And he didn't want to go. He said, Mom, I don't want to go. I want to stay at home. I want to play with you. I want to read my books. I want to swing on my swing. I want to play with my toys. I don't want to go to school. And his mom said, Mrs. Raccoon said, well, Chester, I understand that new things are scary. I understand that. But they're important. They'll give you new opportunities and new things to do. But I want us to tell you a secret that my mommy told me. And he said, a secret? What kind of secret? And she said, it's called the kissing hand. And Mrs. Raccoon took Chester's little hand and had him open his hand and spread his fingers out like a fan. And she put a kiss right in the middle of his hand. And she said, now close your hand, and you can keep that kiss very safe. It will stick. Even if you wash your hands, it's not going to go away. And any time that you feel scared or lonely or don't know what to do, open your hand and put it on your face. And you'll hear me say, Chester, I love you. I love you. I love you. And so Chester did that, and it was so sweet. But remember what I said. When we give love, it's reciprocal. So as they went to school that night, Mrs. Raccoon was dropping them off, and Chester said, Mommy, open your hand. And he put a little kiss in her hand and closed it. And then he said, you'll always remember, Mommy, I love you. Well, we practice that, of course, but I can still feel that little kiss of Naya's right in my hand. No, I don't say practice this with your friends. You know, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm just thinking, that would not be the healthiest thing, I just don't think. But anyway, or you might be put in the loony bin. I'm not sure, but just don't do that. But if you can just feel the sensation, if we start the day and feel the sensation of spirit, just saying how much we're loved, and we just close it up and feel it running from our arms into our heart, just like Chester did, we take that with us wherever we go. We share it, we take it, we care for life in such a beautiful way. Remember, it's up to us to choose love. I think our greatest skill in life is empathy and compassion, that we have the ability to step in someone else's shoes and feel what they're feeling and be compassionate. It was Joseph Campbell said the whole purpose of life is compassion, and we take that with us. So today, what do you choose? Somebody does. Richard, you're a good student. Thank you. Yay for Richard. Good student. Yay, Richard. Choose love. Being human can be painful. We have challenges. We have difficulties. We have problems, but we can always choose love. And we always know, as Mr. Rogers said, I mentioned last week, there's helpers everywhere to remind us of who we are. St. Francis of Assisi, I have to do a little bird walk here, but we have a statue of St. Francis in front of our house, and he's very cute, but Kirk likes to dry our baggies on St. Francis's head. And it really bothers me, you know? I'm like, what? But I know he was a patron saint of animals and the environment. I'm sure he's really glad we're drying out our baggies and using them again. But no judgment. Anyway, St. Francis of Assisi said, God came to my house and asked for charity. And I fell to my knees. And I said, but what can I give? And God said, just love. Just love. That's all. That's all we need to do. We just need to, we're not always going to get the love back from who we share it with or see it, that who's ever inside there, but it's going to be reciprocal and come back. Mother Teresa said, wherever you are, whatever you do, give someone, everyone, not someone, everyone a smile, because that is the beginning of love. A smile can make a difference in someone's life. So many people feel at times in their life they just don't matter, they're not important, and a smile lets them know how important they are. We have a job to do here, and our job is really to know that the answer always is Richard. Yay, Richard, yay! It's always love, and we get to choose that. And so I want that to be your mantra and motto, because we kind of are looking at that in a new way. It's up to us. It's not that we don't have it. It's already been given. It's being given all the time. We have to choose it and use it. So just join me in this moment by saying, I choose to love. I choose to be in joy. I choose to live fully. I choose to love myself. And I choose to love you. And you. And you. And you. Because that, my friends, is what's going to change the world. Thanks for being part of my circle of love. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.